Andre Williams' farewell to R&B's raunchiest raconteur music. The Guardian. The Midwestern singer, who has died aged 82, worked with everyone from Berry Gordy to thrash punk's U and arguably invented rap music. The Midwestern singer, who has died aged 82, worked with everyone from Berry Gordy to thrash punk's U and arguably invented rap music. Andre Williams died on Sunday, aged 82, after being diagnosed with colon cancer 2 weeks earlier. To most people, born in Bessemer, Alabama, Zephyr Andre Williams escaped rural poverty for the bright lights of Detroit around 1950. Motor City was in 1955. His unique style won him a local talent quest and a contract with Fortune Records, a tiny independent run by Jack and Devorah Brown. Williams wrote, in the 1980s, a series of bootlegs called Songs the Cramps Taught Us. Gathering originals of songs the Cramps covered was my introduction to Williams, but info about him was scarce. What I did work out. The next year, he wrote the R&B and pop hit Twine Time for Alvin Cash, and throughout the decade issued his own records while writing and producing for everyone from Mary Wells to Parliament Funkadelic to Bobby Blue Bland. A Call from Ike. Williams cleaned up at some point in the 1980s and began working Chicago's blues clubs. He was surprised. He paired with garage rockers the Dirt Bombs for his 1998 album, Silky, and it is a raucous, lusty celebration. Black Godfather. In 2007, Spain's Vampisol Records issued Movin' On with Andre Williams, a superb double album that provided an overview of his career from 1956 to 1970. This got Andre. Over those years, Chicago's Bloodshot Records issued several albums by Williams, most pretty hasty efforts, but 2012's Hoods and Shades, produced by noted Detroit guitarist Dennis Coffey, was a solid affair. I requested a phone. I never saw or spoke to him again, but just last week I dropped into London's Wonderful and found a new EP of Williams' Fortune recordings. Of course I bought it. Before you post, we'd like to thank you for joining the debate. We're glad you've chosen to participate and we value your opinions and experiences. Please choose your username under which you would like all your comments to show up. You can only set. Please keep your posts respectful and abide by the and if you spot a comment you think doesn't adhere to the guidelines, please use the report link next to it to let us know. Please preview your comment below and click post when you're happy with it.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.